Yeah, there's 3 more there. Oh, wow. Oh, they're actually not going to fit in the shot. I'm using a different lens than I usually do, so I can't quite figure out how to stop it auto-focusing every 2 seconds. So if you hear it clicking, that's what that is. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 books. 16 books. Didn't get them all for Christmas. Some I bought myself when I got like a new job. But you haven't seen any of these. So this is really exciting to actually show you. I changed the angle a little bit, hoping it would help with the funky lighting, but didn't help too much, but we're just going to continue anyway. First books I'm going to show you I got from Santa Claus and various other people throughout Christmas, and I'm going to start with this one because it's on top of the pile and I don't want to go rooting through anything else, and that is The Infinite by Laurie Emily. This is the sequel to Gates of Heart and Stone, which I still haven't read, but I got the sequel because I decided I wanted to finish the 2 of them together before the 3rd book comes out. Not that I know when the 3rd book comes out, but it's happening eventually, I assume. The premise of the 1st book, which I got a few years ago for Christmas, is that only one person is allowed to control magic, but this little girl has a secret that she can control the threads of time, which is like a magic thing, and she's not supposed to be able to do that. I'm excited to read it, and I just haven't got to— oh! Look inside the cover. The next 2 books I got are The Rose Society and The Midnight Star by Marie Lu. I got the 1st book, The Young Elites, for Christmas, I think the same year I got Gates of Heart and Stone. And I haven't read it yet because I got the 1st book in hardback, and to buy 2 more hardbacks just seemed too expensive for me to justify doing, so I decided to ask for it for Christmas this year, and I would eventually get some. The premise of The Young Elites is there was like a disease, and everyone who survived now has this magic ability, and it follows a band of like young people who are criminals. I think something along that. Pretty similar to the plot of Elusive by Emily Lloyd-Jones, but this was written before that, I think. Anyway, these are the final 2 books in the trilogy, which I decided to get so I could finally read them. Plus to have an entire series where the covers all match is quite exciting, and you'll see why in just a second. The next 2 books I got are also sequels in a book series, but this one I've actually read the 1st book and I really loved it. It was The Diviners by e.m.m.a.f.a.g.a.n. The 1st book is set in the 20s in New York, and there was a murder and there's a ghost and there's an occult society that kind of is involved in some way, and you're not sure if they're good or bad, and it was so amazing and I loved it. But they had a big gap between the 1st and the 2nd book, and then when they came out they changed the cover like a million times. And I decided I would go on Book Depository and get the next 2 books because I really wanted to continue with the series. It was a book that I really enjoyed. And I decided now that they'd kind of settled on another cover, I was like, I'll go on Book Depository and pick the cover that I like most. And that is these ones. Now you may have noticed something, and that is that they're different sizes. I can't even get them on the screen. They're quite drastically different sizes. This has happened to so many of my book series that I'm annoyed, but I'm not overly concerned about it anymore. Anyway, these books are called Lair of Dreams and Before the Devil Breaks You, both by Bookmas, and I'm so excited to continue with the Diviners series because it was so exciting, and it was one of those books that really sucked you in, and I can't wait. But just for your entertainment, look at the size difference. The next book I got is another sequel, and that is The Carnelian Crow by Colleen Gleason. This book is a sequel in the Stoker and Holmes series. I think it's the 4th book. They are about Sherlock Holmes's niece and Bram Stoker's daughter who go off together to fight supernatural crime, and it's really interesting and I really enjoy the series. It's very fun and light-hearted. It's historically set, but it's like steampunk. One of the things I loved most about this series was the book was slightly square shaped, just a little bit, and it was just very exciting for me. And I also liked the insides, but when I opened the inside of this book to admire it, I realized that it's plain and also that it's regular book shape, because guess what? This book does not match in size or shape either. But I'm still excited to read it because it doesn't matter. I've been getting so many sequels because I'm trying to fix my TBR, because the problem with my TBR for the last few years has been that I have a lot of 1st books and it's just expensive to continue on. So for the last couple of years, I've just been getting sequels and sequels and sequels. Anyway, the ones that I've got now are, I'm not sure what order these go in, Eldest, Brisingaur, and Inheritance, all by Christopher Paolini. The 3rd 3 books in the e.m.m.a.f.a.g.a.n series. Haven't read e.m.m.a.f.a.g.a.n yet, got it for my birthday, and it is about a boy, I think, who finds a dragon egg, and I don't know. I wanted to read all these books because I've heard from everyone that they are the business. These next 2 books I actually did not get for Christmas. I bought myself when I got a new job, and they are A Hollow in the Hills and The Darkness at the End by Ruth Frances Long. The second 2 books in the trilogy, Crack and Everything, that's what it's called. It is a story set in Dublin about this girl who finds out she's part of a world that involves a lot of Irish myths, and it's quite similar to the Mortal Instruments, I'll be fair. And these two books I actually have not been enjoying as much as I wanted to. At first, in the second book, I was really excited, but it just, I don't know, I'm just not too into this series. But I am finishing it. I'm nearly done this book now. Anyway, the next two books I want to show you, I'm so excited about these books. Just have the most gorgeous covers I've ever seen designed. I don't know who designed them. They're pretty fabulous though. They are Passenger and Wayfarer by e.m.m.a.f.a.g.a.n. They are about time-traveling pirates or something like that. Don't really know, honestly, quite frankly. But look at these covers. Look at how beautiful they are. I've read another series by e.m.a.f.a.g.a.n, The Darkest Minds, and I quite liked it. So to pick up Passenger and Wayfarer was a really easy decision. They're books that I've been staring at in the bookshop for so long, and when I got a new job I was like, hey, I can. The next two books I got I'm also really excited about because I've heard so many good things about them. That is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I read Leigh Bardugo's series, the Grisha trilogy, at the start of the year, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting, quite a light fantasy book. But then I read Language of Thorns, which is her new kind of collection of fairy tales from the Grishaverse. Oh, brief drama, something was in my eye. Okay, I can see again. That was terrifying. Fairy tales from the Grishaverse. And I loved it. I loved it. It was one of my favorite books this year. I could not believe how fantastic it was. And that just made me really excited to read these, which I've heard really good things about. From what I can tell, it is set in that same universe as her Grisha's trilogy and Language of Thorns, and it follows a group of thieves who are like heist type criminals. I don't know. Haven't read them yet. But after reading Language of Thorns, I was so excited to read more of her writing because I just couldn't wait because I loved it so much. So I really wanted to get into this and read them. I only have one more book left to show you. I hope you're excited about this one. I was pretty excited when I picked it up. It is Eliza and Her Monsters by Frances Zappia. This book is about a girl who designs a webcomic that's really, really popular, and she's in high school. A boy moves in and he's a huge fan, like her #1 fan, and he doesn't know who she is because she writes under like a pen name or something. But anyway, I think he finds out who she is, and it's just the consequences of that, and it sounds really exciting, very cutesy. I'm not usually into contemporary, but we'll see how this goes. I couldn't resist it because it has illustrations. I love illustrations. Those are the books I got for Christmas, and in the last couple of months they've been gathering on my shelves for a while. I am actually kind of amazed at the size of the stack of books here beside me. I might show you. I'll show you. Let me know what you're most looking forward to reading in the next couple of months. Thank you for bearing with the weird clicking and the funky lighting, but that's all I have for you for this video today. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.